Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's James here, ProPix TV in Vancouver, British Columbia. Just bringing you another update on the amazing and exciting Invictus games that are going on in Vancouver and Whistler this week. So without further ado, here's a quick update as to what's been going on. Welcome to another report on the Invictus Games happening in Vancouver and Whistler, British Columbia, Canada from February the 8th to 16th. With a spectacular start on the first 2 days, here's a summary of what's been going on. Of course, we know that on February the 8th, the opening ceremonies were held at BC Place Stadium. The ceremony was a star-studded event featuring performances by global artists like Chris Martin of Coldplay, Katy Perry, Noah Kahan, Nelly Furtado, and Roxanne Bruno. The ceremony was described as unforgettable with a vibrant atmosphere celebrating the resilience and spirit of the competitors. Notable moments including Chris Martin performing the Invictus anthem live for the first time and the transformation of the stadium into a sea of blue representing the Pacific coastline. In terms of sporting events, the day also saw the commencement of sports with the first pools of wheelchair basketball at the Vancouver Convention Centre. This marked the beginning of the competition spirit of the games, with athletes from around the globe showcasing their skills and determination in adaptive sports. The cultural elements are something to also take note of, and the event was held on the traditional territories of several Indigenous nations, with cultural acknowledgements and performance reflecting the commitment to Canada's Truth and Reconciliation Commission calls to action. On day 2, that was February the 9th, of course, we know that the sports continued with wheelchair curling competitions that began at the Hillcrest Recreation Centre, adding to the winter sports dimension of this year's games. Wheelchair basketball continued from the previous day, providing fans with more action-packed matches. Community engagement is also the focus of parts of the games, and the games fostered a sense of community and inspiration with activities and events designed to encourage public participation and support for the athletes. Attendees and volunteers shared sentiments of unity, inspiration, highlighting the unique atmosphere of the games. The media and public reaction was shared a lot on social media, particularly with the official Invictus Games account on X described day 1 as epic, underscoring the high-energy competition and the Invictus spirit that was evident from the onset. The summary reflects a blend of sports, entertainment, cultural respect, and community involvement that characterizes the Invictus Games, focusing on recovery, rehabilitation, and honoring those who have served their countries. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle visited the Squamish Indigenous Cultural Centre as a part of their activities related to the 2025 Invictus Games. Some of the key points for their visit was, of course, the main purpose of the visit was part of the couple's engagement with the cultural heritage of the region, especially significant as the games were held in partnership with the First Nations communities, specifically the Squamish Nation. The visit was described as righting a wrong from the past, highlighting a moment of reconciliation and cultural acknowledgement. During the visit, Harry and Meghan participated in several cultural activities. They toured the language nest, and I apologize, there is another name for that in the Squamish Nation language. However, I am not going to try to pronounce it and dishonor it. Where they met families dedicated to raising children fluent in the Squamish language. The programming included songs, sign language, and other cultural practices showcasing the community's efforts in preserving their heritage. The visit was not only about cultural immersion, but also about acknowledging the historical significance of Indigenous communities in the context of the Invictus Games. The game's logo was created in collaboration with artists from the 4 host First Nations, symbolizing unity and the inclusion of Indigenous perspectives. Wilson Williams, a spokesperson for the Squamish Nation, described the visit as a special moment that broke barriers and cleared a path for Indigenous people in the context of the Games. The visit was seen as an act of reconciliation, emphasizing healing, unity, and community support. The media and social media coverage The event garnered much attention on platforms like X, with users sharing updates and sentiments about the significance of the visit, emphasizing the cultural exchange and couples' engagement with the community. The visit underscores the broader theme of the 2025 Invictus Games to engage with and honor the cultural heritage of the host nations, promoting healing and reconciliation. Team Unconquered at the 2025 Invictus Games referred to one of the teams participating under the Unconquered banner, which typically includes athletes from various nations who are not part of a national team or are from countries without a full team. And what we know about their performance on day one was that they performed well in the wheelchair basketball. They faced Team Netherlands, and although they played well, they still lost that game to the Netherlands, but it was a great game all the same with great spirit. The Invictus Games often feature teams like Unconquered to ensure that athletes from smaller countries and those without enough participants for a full team can still compete, promoting inclusivity and the game's spirit of resilience and recovery. After day one and day two, we've seen some medals already been awarded. We saw Israel winning in the gold category for the wheelchair basketball, and the Republic of Korea. Congratulations to them for taking home gold in the wheelchair curling. We also know that in terms of the silver medals, we saw the United Kingdom winning for curling in the silver, and of course the United States taking home silver for the wheelchair basketball. Following up that with bronze for curling was Team Israel as well. So that was in the curling realm. So congratulations to them. And we cannot forget Team Unconquered. That was team number 3 for Unconquered, and they took home the bronze in the wheelchair basketball. We will be keeping you up to date on more developments, more awards, and of course summaries and highlights of the various events as they go on throughout the week. Tomorrow we will be visiting some of the highlights, including the much anticipated snowboarding events. There will be other medal events as well on the 11th of February, and that includes the skeleton and medal runs. So we'll keep you up to date on that. Thanks for tuning in and following along and celebrating along with us. Don't forget that you can also find information on the Invictus Games through their website at invictusgames2025.ca. Keep up to date on this and other events as they happen. Thanks for tuning in, stay safe, and once again, celebrate the uniqueness of the Invictus Games here in Vancouver and Whistler here in 2025.
And we must stand together and show them that care. After the fight is through, we will be there, we will be there.
And that was your quick update on the Invictus Games after several days of competition and exciting events here in Vancouver and Whistler, British Columbia, Canada. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to keep up on what's happening with the Invictus Games, as well as other important issues and news breaking around the world as it happens. Like, follow, and subscribe, and don't forget that you can be a part of our news and our stories by leaving your comments down below. We'll definitely read them, and by all means, we may just include them in a story if you have a story idea or news tips for us to follow up on. Once again, it's James here at ProPix TV in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Look for help, seems there's none inside. Someone must know this isn't right.